Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Brunch with Besties. I am Sherry, and with me I have
Lakeisha
and Chanel.
So our girl Nadia couldn't make it today.
We gotta
She's not
pour out some water
well.
for our homie. But feel better. We love you and we miss you.
Yes, she's not feeling well. But so we just want to acknowledge her in her absence. So before we get started, I thought we should do a quick recap of our trip to Atlanta. So
Yes.
Lakeisha.
Yes, Atlanta was awesome, you guys. Those of you who are following our page on Instagram, Brunch with the Besties podcast. So go like and all that good stuff. And look at our pictures. We went to the Pinky Promise conference that was founded by Heather Lindsay, who is an author, and she co-pastors a church with her husband, Cornelius Lindsay. And it was just like really life-changing. I think none of us really expected to get out of it what we got. I think we just looked at it as another conference with a whole bunch of girls, women getting together. But it was more than that. I think we all had just our passions reignited and what our purpose and mission is in life, or getting closer to figuring out what those things are. It was the best birthday gift ever. And like you guys know, I've been celebrating my birthday for a while.
All quarter,
Child. But it's okay.
It is. So that was a great way to end it. And, my lovely co-host, as well as my friend Nicole and Scarlett. So they all made a way for me to get there and for them to be a part of it. Unfortunately, Scarlett wasn't able to join us, but, I'm definitely appreciate her willingness to get me there. So it was really awesome. So I think for me, one of the classes that was definitely life-changing was like the networking and branding one for me, because I'm all about that. And I've just been so focused on networking and branding myself, Lakeisha. And I just took a whole lot out of it because the speaker was actually the director of marketing from Radio One, owned by Kathy Hughes. And she just had a lot of gems. It was definitely things I think we needed to be reminded of. So if we go to a networking event with friends, we're not going to stay together. We need to separate and actually meet people.
Right.
So, yeah, it was awesome. What did you ladies take away from it? What was something that you did?
That's a great question. There were a lot of things that I took away, but I would say the thing that's been burning in me more so is just making sure that you are actually living out your purpose. Just really making sure that that's what you're doing. So not copying anybody, not trying to blend in, but not being afraid to stand out, be you, live your purpose, and just realizing that gives other people the freedom to live theirs. And not only that, but there was a point where Cornelius said, you need to let go of the shame of some of your sins and speak about them, because you're supposed to be healing other people with that. So
Yeah.
And that's a good one. I think it ties back to what our mission is helping and healing others while we help and heal ourselves.
Yeah.
So very good. What about you, Chanel?
For me, because I came on Friday, so I missed everything due to work. But I still had a blast. It was awesome. But one thing that I took away was the Q&A that we went to, where they were like answering questions, like Twitter questions. And a lot of them were dealing with relationships, and that's kind of my lane that I'm in. So one of the things was like, you cannot date someone who doesn't have the same standards as you. And that really stuck with me. And I know if you're a churchgoer, you hear a lot about being equally yoked with someone. And I think that kind of falls in that same line to say, if this person doesn't have the same values or faith or goals as you do, then why waste your time? And I'm definitely learning that in my life right now. So I was like, yes, speak to me, Father. So that was right up my alley.
Awesome. Yay. And I know if Nadia was here, I don't know exactly what she would have said, but I think probably a combination of everything we just mentioned, maybe. I don't know. We can check with her next week, though.
Yeah, we can.
Probably. We can definitely check with her, but I know Heather wrote different things in our books.
Yes.
And I think hers was about God's timing.
Yes, it
So
was.
she would probably say something, and I know that kind of resonated with her, so she would probably say something along those lines.
That's perfect.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our toast. So, Miss Lakeisha, who are you toasting to today?
I am giving. I know last week, I believe I shouted you guys out again, so I'm doing it again. You know,
Yay! Yes! 2 times in a
y'all are
row.
one, right? That's how you know it's real, right? Just I wouldn't have had that experience at the Pinky Promise conference without you guys.
Oh.
And so I was definitely grateful that y'all just didn't send me there by myself. But, you know, it was something that we shared together. And, you know, this is something that we all established was like, we're going to go to this every year now.
Mm-hmm. This was our girls' trip.
Yeah, it was. So I wasn't going to say nothing, but I am. So we went out. What night did we go out? So we got there Wednesday.
Friday.
Was it Friday?
Friday night we went out because I was there.
Okay, yeah. We went out Friday night, you know. And so the next day we went into a session and I think we felt convicted because we went out, you know, and so anybody that knows me knows I love to dance. And not to be confused with like, you know, stripper dancing or anything like that. Like I just love to dance.
And not only that, but she will win any dance competition because she did when we were in LA at the Steve Harvey show.
I did. I had to win that car for my son to the whipping nay y'all. But you know, it was so funny because I don't think we expected to feel as moved as we did that next day. Like, you know what? Because we was going to go out again. Because it was like, well, it was my first time in Atlanta. And I was like, you know, I wanted to see the city life and, you know, just see the nightlife. And, you know, we got back to the room and I was like, okay, y'all, I ain't going out. Sherry's like, good, because I was going to tell y'all have a good night. And I was going to stay. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So we all felt a little conviction because I think, you know, it just lines up. We need to be consistent. If we're saying, you know, we love God, we serve him, we're trying to embody him, be a Proverbs 31 woman, we actually need to do those things and be consistent. So, and you know, I wasn't going to say anything about that, but I was like, you know what? It's people out there that's still in the club and go to church on Sunday. And, you know, I'm not pointing the finger. I just think for me, I can't actually do that. But yeah, so, but my toast is to these ladies because without them, I would not have had that experience.
Awesome.
Miss Chanel, who are you toasting to?
I'm actually going to toast my blog's Instagram page, and I'm just going to shout out a few people. So I do have a blog called Singles in the City, and my IG for my blog is singlesinthe_city_. But I have some really like followers. Like I have some good followers who like respond on posts and they're reading my blog and they're giving me feedback or they're just giving me encouraging words. Like, you know, I went through that too. Like, thank you for your testimony. And it's just like, wow, like, yay. So I want to shout those people out. And it's just a few. And if I don't say your name, don't charge it to my heart. You know, I'm still thinking of you. So I definitely appreciate the love. But a few people that has continued to show me love is @_NeekB. So thank you, love. You're always supporting me. Who else? @Addicted to Heels and Kicks. Thank you, love. You're always supporting me too. Our boo @Scarlett, always showing love on my page, and also @Sharon Full of Life. So thank you all, and to @Sherry_Renee, because yesterday she liked so many. It was like I had like a long list of like notifications. It was all from Sherry, and I was like, okay, hey girl,
because I love you.
Listen, she was definitely showing love. So yes, and same for Lakeisha, always showing love, popping up, and I'll definitely, you know, posting her blog posting her podcast on my blog page, and vice versa. So love, like, support each other. We all have enough room to love and support each other. As long as you in your lane and doing what you're doing in your lane, it's enough for all of us. So thank you all for the love.
Amen. So my toast goes to The Purpose Room because that's what I've been reading. It's a book by Heather Lindsay, and I've just been really reading that since I got back, and it's definitely been moving me. So
in the right direction,
in the
more
right
towards your
direction.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yay.
So it's something that I would definitely recommend for people to read. So
Awesome.
And it's also on Audible, right? Oh, no, it's not.
no, so
Oh, it's
Silent
not.
Season.
Silent
Oh,
is on
Silent Season,
Audible,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Which is another book that I'm listening to.
Okay.
Which is awesome as
At the
well.
same time.
At the same time.
Shout out to Heather Lindsay.
She's doing some
You're
phenomenal
awesome. Yes,
things.
she is. Some great work.
So let's go ahead and check in. So Lakeisha, what's going on? How you doing? What's new?
I am definitely busy. I've been doing a lot of rebranding. So some of you may have seen the notices on my Facebook page, like just rebranding the whole bio, for people to really understand what it is I do and what my mission and purpose is. I am committed to melanin and mental health, meaning that my goal and mission is just to spread the knowledge of mental health and therapy within the Black community, and for people not to have any fear about saying I'm not okay or seeking out services from a licensed professional counselor. So y'all go hashtag that. No fear.
No fear.
Gotcha. No fear.
Chanel, what's going on with you?
So I feel like I've talked about this every episode, but we're starting school, so it is back to school time.
So you're
And
moving
I'm-
into acceptance. You're going through all the stages of grief,
I did
honey.
go through all of them, but
Denial.
did not all of it. But I love my babies.
Bargaining.
I got to meet some of my babies, so I'm very excited to work with them and get back in the classroom. But hopefully we drop this episode tomorrow, and if you all are listening, come out to Mesa School. It's right on 66 in Melvina, and make sure you come out and welcome the kids. We're gonna have like a big welcoming and cheering section for them as they walk through the door. So if you all are available, we want you all to be there at 8 a.m. and just come out and welcome all the babies back to school. I think that would be dope.
Awesome.
More men, especially if it's Black men listening. We need y'all. They need to see that. So
And now this is for tomorrow, August 6th. Or wait, when is it?
yeah, we start school on Monday.
Oh.
So yeah, right. We start school
It
Monday.
just got real.
So it did. So I'm definitely running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And not only that, like my son hasn't started school yet. So getting him prepared to start school.
Is he going through all the stages of grief as well?
He is not. He hasn't really mentioned it because he's been so busy all summer. So I think it'll just kind of flow. But he's more excited about getting new shoes and stuff. So he's like, are you going to take me to get shoes? And it's like, yeah, don't we always? Like, what are you talking about? So he's ready for that to show off. So yeah.
Okay. And so for me, I think I mentioned last week that I got hired into a new position at my current company. And so I started that new position, but I'm still kind of working in the old position because my position hasn't been filled. So this week has been a little rough. It's been a little rough. And in the new position, there's been some kind of fires that have started. And I'm like, are they playing? Is this real? Is this like my initiation? Is this what this is? Because
Am I being punked right now?
Am I being punked? But it's okay.
It's all gonna work out.
Right.
That's little growing pains
made
won't
it.
hurt you, baby.
Right.
Just a little bit.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic.
I'm so excited, y'all.
So today's episode is called B Moments, also known as Black Moments. So there are two different definitions of B moments. So one is kind of it's a moment where you're kind of playing out or acting out the stereotype of Black people, but you're in a non-Black setting. So this can commonly occur at work.
Yeah.
The other definition is commonly referred to as in moments, fill in the blank. This is how
Jigga, but without the jigga.
Yeah.
this is how they refer to it on the Boondocks. So it's a moment where something triggers you to actually act ignorant and you forget your religion, your education, who you are. You forget where you are and you just want to react. So that is today's topic. So let's go ahead and start with Chanel.
So I had to have one at work. so we were talking about something, me and a coworker, and she's white. And I don't remember what we were talking about. This was a couple years ago. But I wanted to use the word worrisome. Okay. So this is about vocabulary. So me being me, and we have our slang and how we talk amongst each other. So I'm like, worrisome. So, and I keep saying it, and she's like, what? Like, you mean worrisome? And I was like, oh, yeah, like, worrisome. So, thinking about it now, I'm just like, wow, like, I thought me and her was cool enough where I could kind of do that, but she was just like, no, like, I don't know what that is. So, that was my funny story at work. So, just when to use that, you know, slang and when not to, because you're gonna look crazy. So that was my story.
That's funny. Lakeisha, the most uncomfortable B moment.
You know, it was so hard to think of an uncomfortable moment because predominantly all my positions, I've had a balance of working with Black coworkers. So culturally, like slang or whatever, it was understood. And even like with my white counterparts, because they've worked in like more urban areas, they kind of understood. I will tell you like I wouldn't even say it was awkward because it was like funny to me because I was like, really? I was going to take a position in Tennessee last year. And so my new supervisor, she was Black. But the person like overseeing us, because my old supervisor left, she was white. She was like second in command within like the district or whatever. You know, she really liked me, you know. She didn't really want to see me go. But it was funny because she actually reached out to the Black supervisor to talk to me. And to see if she can sway me, almost like using her Blackness. And it was funny because I appreciate that supervisor who was over me then, because she was like, Lakeisha, look, I'm just being real with you. She called me because she was like, you know, maybe you can talk to her, you know, as a Black woman to a Black woman. And she's like, and you know, and I appreciate her for being honest with me. Like, she wanted me to pull the Black card, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. Right. I'll just have that conversation with her, just like out of concern, like, you know, making sure this is the best fit for you, and you know, weighed all your options out. And it was more so funny to me because I was just like, oh wow, like, you know, a part of me took it as like, well, dang, do she care that much? You know, like making sure, you know, I weighed all options out, but the side of it that she roped in a Black woman who was older than me to kind of, I don't know, relate to me. Wow. That was interesting.
That is.
So.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I have one too, if I can squeeze myself in there.
Ahead.
But an uncomfortable one. So this was like around, I was working at a school, and I was probably one of 5 Black teachers that was there out of the whole school. And, you know, our team, we would eat lunch together. So we would talk about all kinds of stuff. But this one day, one of the white teachers was like, you know, why do these people act like this? This is around the time where Dontre Hamilton was killed. So God rest his soul and shout out to his family. But they were talking about it as if it was justifiable for the officers to kill him, and it was just like, no. So I was like really emotional, like going in, like, no.
So you were
like,
having an end moment.
I was kind of having an end moment because I was like, what y'all not gonna do is try to just make this seem like this is okay, because I'm trying to get them to understand, you know, while not all Black people can relate to like living in the hood or whatever, but we still all have, you know, common struggles. And what I don't want to see is that people normalize in their mind that it's okay for police to like open range on Black men. Like, that's not okay. So I was really like in my feelings that day, where I was just like, I gotta leave. Like, I can't even eat with y'all no more right now, because I was so upset by like they're just blatant nonchalant about this Black man losing his life. So it was crazy.
Wow.
And it's so funny how people are quick to label that as an end moment, when literally I see you just standing up for an injustice.
I had to say something. And usually, like, you know, I'm not a confrontational person. Like, I don't want that to happen. And it's awkward. Like, we at work, and I don't want her to be like, well, she just, you know, angry Black woman. Here she is. So I didn't want that to come out. But I was like almost to tears, y'all. Like, I was like, no, like, that's not okay. Like, I don't, like, we're not gonna keep saying these kids and those kids are, no, because not all Black people are the same. So yeah, I had to kind of get that through their heads, and they were like, yeah, I just don't understand why. Well, you're not Black, you not ever gonna understand why.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, it was tough.
So
And it wasn't, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And I was like, it wasn't just him being black, but mental health as well.
Exactly.
So, you know, like, if anything, y'all should understand that.
in her mental health.
I'm glad she chimed in, girl, because I didn't call Lakeisha like every day this week, like, so I got somebody. Okay, it's a different story.
But my example was when I was looking for work. So after I graduated from college and I was looking for work, and first I would do a phone interview. So there was this one company in particular that shall remain nameless. So I had I had my phone interview. Everything was well. Yes, Sherry, we're really excited to meet you. We can't wait. Blah 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 blah. Right. Mm-hmm. So I show up in person, and I go up to the front desk. You know, they tell me to have a seat, blah, blah, blah. So I see the guy come out, smiling, ready to meet the person that he's supposed to interview. I'm the only person in the waiting room. He has a conversation with the assistant, and she motions, like she kind of does a motion like that, Sherry, right there. And so then he looks up and he sees me, and I see his reaction, and his reaction to me was kind of disgust. So then he has another conversation with her, and he turns around and he goes back. So then she motions for me to come up, and she says, oh, something came up, he won't be able to interview with you today, blah blah blah. Yes. And then she's like, oh, you know, but we'll reschedule. And I'm like, okay. So I start pulling out my calendar so we can reschedule. She's like, oh, I need to check with his schedule. You know, she's like making up excuses as to why she won't schedule. So, you know, my name is Sherry, and I went to Marquette, so I think a lot of people think that I'm white. And I probably sound more black now than I did then. But it was very clear to me that he didn't want to have me in his office. So that my reaction at the time, I remember standing at her desk, and I literally froze, because I had so many thoughts going through my head, and I wanted to literally react and say exactly what I was thinking. But I was like, you know, if I do.
Right. Those blessings will not fall. So I'm going to let y'all, you know.
No, I wouldn't even think about the blessings, child. I was like, if I do, then I'm going to be whatever stigma he has against
That's true.
black people, he will be proven right. So I'm just going to turn around, and I'm going to get a different job. And I did.
And you did.
And look at God.
Right.
Won't he do it? Because you're great. So, yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Sure. Then, so in those instances, when we come against an employer that is right out racist, what should we do, though? You know, because I feel like we're doing an injustice to have the next black person whose name may be Adam, and you know, and then that person sees him and does the same thing. And granted, we don't want to like defamation of character or anything like that, because we don't want any legal things against us. But you know, how can we?
Racism is hard to prove because you're trying to prove the thoughts of someone else. And he could say, oh, no, you know, people are going to come up with excuses or whatever. So I guess for me, one thing that I've learned is I've always tried to be an example and show people that we are different. But what I've learned, not everybody, but a lot of people, what they end up doing is instead of saying like, oh, yeah, so this is proof that, you know, these people are different, they just make you an exception. Right. I've literally had people say to me, those people, but not you, Sherry.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, there are some benefits to being the only black person at your job or in your department. You do tend to stand out. People know who you are.
Yeah.
You definitely don't blend in
at all.
And so you kind of tend to make a name for yourself a lot quicker than I think other people can. So hopefully you're making a good name for yourself. But because I know for me, there's not that many black folks at my job. And there's definitely times where I can even go to a different facility and they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's Sherry. And I'm thinking like, I have no idea who you are.
Oh, wow.
But if you want to know who I am, great.
Yeah.
And then also you tend to get more visibility from senior leadership because you're the only one. They cannot mistake you for anybody else. So,
you know what? Point. So it's funny as you said that. I was like, I did have a black moment, like maybe like a month ago. So in my current role right now, though, I'm more so isolated just because of what I do with the therapy. I'm specific to an elementary school. But when like the whole team gets together in the city that I work at, I'm the only black person. So everybody else is white. And somebody was talking about like they were opening some kind of clinic or something in Sherman Park area of Milwaukee, whatever. And and she was older, you know, and she was like, but isn't that like a horrible neighborhood? And my thought immediately was like, dang, she probably talking about like, you know, the unrest, Milwaukee, like, you know, that area. And I was like, I live in Milwaukee. You know, like, yeah, I'm out here with y'all, but I live in Milwaukee. I was like, not, you know, it's just the same as this city.
Right. You better recognize.
But so, yes, that was a Black moment for me. And I just honestly chopped it. I was like, she was an older white woman, you know. Sometimes some of their thinking is just what it is.
But then that makes me think about what you just said. Like, can we continue to give them a pass? Like, oh, well, that's just how they thought. But no, like, your stigma and your, like, what you're putting on us is not accurate. Like, no. But maybe that's a different episode, because I'm definitely been reading a lot about Colin Kaepernick and what he's doing. And it's a beautiful thing. And if people are going to choose to watch football, sad, man. Like, when are we gonna be like, no, this is not okay? So that was sidebar, my bad.
There was another B moment that one of our friends shared with us, and it's just more funny, and it's more of the first definition where you just literally find yourself acting out every stereotype when you are in a place of people unlike you. And so basically what she did was she put it in our group chat. I think there's like maybe 7 of us in this group chat. And she said, oh my God, y'all, I'm having a B moment. And she was like, I'm the only Black person, right? I walked in the meeting late. I had a big bag of Flaming Hots. And I'm using like a 64-ounce bottle of Naked.
Old cup.
Old cup as a water bottle. Like, this could not be any worse.
So it's like so many things wrong. Like, 1, you was late. 2,
why do you have Flaming Hots?
Why
is
you
it a
eating
big
chips
bag?
in the morning?
Right.
At a meeting.
In a meeting. And why are you reusing a bottle?
But don't we all, like, listen, the late part? Yeah.
Man.
I can relate to that.
And I was reading this other article, and it was like, you know, when your coworkers offer you chicken, but you really want chicken.
And you say no because you don't want to be like, see, I knew she wanted chicken.
No, I ain't turning down no chicken. I'm sorry. That you offered me the chicken, I'll be like, yes, please.
But it's so funny because I remember watching an episode of Wendy Williams, maybe like a year or 2 ago. And she highlighted that she said 2 things you will never see me do on air is eat watermelon and eat chicken.
Right.
And I was like, interesting that we are so infused with trying to conform.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's the problem. I love both. They're wonderful. So, hey, love me some watermelon, child.
See, watermelon, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't like watermelon, but whatever.
Oh, y'all Black cards need to be revoked. I love watermelon. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I don't like any type of melon.
What?
Really?
Okay.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is a different episode.
I'm
Sherry's the
picky,
pickiest
though. I'm
eater
very
in the
picky.
whole wide world.
But in any case, so guys, on Insecure, in season 1, episode 3. So let's think back to that episode. But let me preface it with this. I was reading an article, and it talked about how we, Black people, learn to create armor between ourselves and the rest of the world. And so armor can come in a different, many varieties of forms, but one of them is code switching. So code switching is done with the intention of making yourself appear less threatening to the other race. So season 1, episode 3 of Insecure, Molly, as we all know, she is a lawyer. She's the only Black lawyer. She's a 3rd-year lawyer. She sees Rashida, who's a new legal intern. So she gets excited. She goes over to Rashida. She introduces herself and she says, hey, if you ever need anything, I want to know that you can come and talk to me, And so Rashida's response is, oh, thank you. It's good to see Black women in high places, but you can call me Dada girl. So then later, Molly overhears Rashida having a conversation with a white lawyer, and she's kind of kikiing, kind of cackling, girl, blah,
Chucking
laughing.
and jiving.
Yeah, chucking and jiving. And so she pulls her into her office and she says, you may want to switch it up. And so Rashida's response is, well, I didn't have to switch it up in my interview. So why do I have to switch it up now? So kind of a thanks but no thanks type of thing. So my question is Molly asking Rashida to assimilate?
And if we look at the definition of assimilate, you guys, it is a gradual process by which a person or group belonging to one culture adopts the practices of another, thereby becoming a member of that culture. And it can be both forced and unforced. So if we're looking in those senses, I will say this. Each office has its own culture. Aside from ethnicity.
Yep.
And I think in that episode, well, I think just in Molly's law firm, it is predominantly white. So they've already established a culture based on the dominant people there. And is she asking her to assimilate? I think, yeah, in terms of that culture, because the dominant people are the ones that have dictated how that culture is to be. And Molly, you know, granted, we don't know how she was when she was an intern. We just see her now, you know, as like a third year law person. So I think she is asking her not to be her true, authentic self in the forms of assimilating, to be accepted.
See, yeah, I agree. And then I don't agree, because I feel like you said, I agree, Lakeisha, with what you said, that each domain or wherever you work is going to have their own specific culture. And do I want a lawyer that's shucking and jiving and talking loud? Probably not. I don't want that lawyer. Like, I want you to show that you're well educated, you're well spoken, because I'm paying the big bucks to do that. I will say, but who's to say that Black people cannot speak well or do any of those things? Like, it's not like, oh, you acting white or you acting this. Like, why do us as Black people, like, we just accept, like, oh, we loud, we talk like this? But no, like, you should be talking, I won't say like normal, because there is not a such thing in my mind as like a standard English, but you should be able to talk in a well-mannered way, I guess I can say it. So I think she is trying to assimilate her into the culture of the office, of the law firm. But I don't think it's like, oh, well, I want you to be
in life completely.
Yeah. So,
I think that there's a difference between assimilation and being acclimated to something. And so for me, assimilation, and maybe just because I'm used to that word when it comes to slavery and us coming over here and being stripped of our, you know, language and things like that, I'm always a little bit like, no, don't assimilate. Acclimate, yes. So acclimate to the culture. Acclimate to the conditions, right? The first time I went to Colorado, Scarlett was like, you may need to get acclimated. The altitude is different here, and you know how you are. So you're going to be on close watch, you know, because you need to adjust. But assimilate, to me, means giving up who you are. And so I always have a problem when people are asking people to give up who they are to fit in. Adjust, adapt, acclimate. Do not assimilate, right? That's kind of my train of thought. But what I saw her doing, or in my mind, because it made me think about, well, what did I do? You know, when I first started, you have to grow professionally. She's an intern.
Yep,
exactly.
And so in my mind, she's saying, hey, you're acting unprofessional. Right. But one thing that I thought was interesting was that her superiors, so when I say her, I mean Molly's superiors asked her to go and talk to Rashida and have her dial it back a bit. Similar to how Lakeisha's supervisor had another Black colleague come and have that conversation. And so Molly actually refused. So what would you guys have done if your superior said, hey, can you go talk to the other Black girl in the office and tell her to assimilate or acclimate?
And see, from watching the show and being a fan, because now we don't see this character anymore. So now I'm thinking like, well, what happened to her? Because Molly was definitely like, you all need to do this, because I think it'll be taken more seriously coming from you all and not for me. Because like you said, Molly had already tried to tell her like, look, I want you to, bring it back. And she was like, whatever. So I think in Molly's mind, where she was like, well, I already tried to warn her. So you all need to do it yourselves. And don't put me in that position. And I think that's kind of what you were saying with your colleague, Lakeisha. Don't have it just because she's black, like I'm going to relate to her more. Like, no, like it should come from whoever the superior is. If you're my boss, I need to hear that from you. So she wasn't wrong for telling them they need to do their own dirty work.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. The other thing is, I think sometimes when we have other black people tell us things, sometimes we think like, oh, they're trying to change me, or they're trying, we may not receive it in the manner in which it's intended.
I agree.
That's true.
But, and I think Rashida did take it that way when Molly came to her as just like a friend. Like, look, I don't think this is appropriate. And she was just like, well, it worked in my interview. So it's just like, girl, bye. Like, okay, I'm trying to help you, but whatever.
But one thing that I thought was interesting is that Rashida really didn't do anything other than she kind of, in those situations, there are, in my mind, at the law firm, they have their boys clubs and they laugh and they joke and they kiki, right? So it happens.
Yep.
She was doing the same thing, but I do agree that I think that Molly was intending to get her to grow professionally.
Yeah.
So my question for y'all is, do you code switch at work?
I feel like for me, I do, just because I'm in the realm of education. So I don't want to speak in slang when I'm trying to teach my kids, proper verb agreements and things like that. Like I try really hard not to. But again, I have a relationship with my children where sometimes I do kind of go back and forth where I'm like, okay, now I want you to really listen to me, because we're doing a heart to heart, a sister soul circle, a boy soul circle. Like, now I need you all to kind of get where I'm coming from. But when I'm teaching, it's definitely, I'm being very meticulous about what comes out of my mouth and how it sounds, because I'm a teacher and I don't want to teach them something incorrectly. So I do a lot of switching at work. So.
And I agree with Chanel as well, because I work a lot with a lot of little kids. So I'm not using always the correct verb agreements or phrases. And even when I'm working with their parents, because I think of so many times I've said stuff in a sentence that in my head, I'm just like, oh, they should be able to understand. They'd be like, what's that? Or what? And so I have to move away from that professional, quote unquote, talk or voice for them to really understand what I'm talking about. Exactly. So and I go back and forth, because I do get some parents who I can talk to in that professional, quote unquote, voice or language, and they get it. And then sometimes I have to move away from that and I don't want to say that I'm not real even in my professional talk, but just be a little more realer.
Or relatable to them. Like, now I'm kind of meeting you, I guess. I don't know if I want to say that, but and in the field that you work in, like, a lot of that can be confusing. It's a lot of jargon and words that common people who didn't study that wouldn't know. So I'm gonna talk to you in layman's terms so that you understand what I need you to understand.
So then, do you feel that you're still being authentic? Like, is this still Lakeisha? Is professional Lakeisha and me using slang or whatever, is that still Lakeisha?
It is, because I even think outside of that, I'm still me. I switch back and forth, professional language and then maybe not so professional language. So, it really depends on the person, because truthfully, I think I'm pretty professional when it comes to anybody, regardless of who you are. But then for me to really understand, okay, I got to scale it back some to meet them where they're at. And that's all what it's about at the end of the day, at least for me in my profession, so.
And what about you, Miss Chanel? Do you feel like you're still being authentic?
I do. I really honestly feel like we're all pretty much bilingual. Like, the way we talk at work is going to be different from how we talk at home, different from how we talk from Milwaukee to Chicago. We all have different dialects and all these kinds of things that kind of play a role. So I feel like you're unknowingly code switching all the time. Like, even in this moment, being right here on our podcast, like I'm really thinking about how the words come out of my mouth and what I'm saying. So I formed a new code here doing this podcast. So I think we do that unknowingly everywhere we go. Even when if I'm talking to young people, if I'm talking to old people, like I have a dialect for them all. Like I feel like I'm always code switching. But am I still me? Yeah, I'm still Chanel. No matter what kind of language you get from me, I'm still me. So yeah.
So I think for me, when I had my first professional job, I think I did a lot of code switching because I was thinking like, this is what professional looks like. This is what professional sounds like. But then I learned the importance of authenticity and how it's better to just really be you. So the professional you, but still be you. And so I think now I'm at a point professionally where I'm really confident, and so it's just better if you just get me.
Yep. Listen,
you know. And so and that can show up in many forms, and it's funny because people are really receptive to that, and they respect you a lot more. You know, I'm not going to give you the the word for word definition or in the blah, blah, blah. No, this is what it is. If this is how I feel like I need to deliver it today, then this is how I'm going to deliver it today. If I need to do it differently, then I will. But at the end of the day, it's what suits me and it's what I feel is being received really well. I will say, though, that I do think at work, I still not code switch in the linguistic sense, but in the sense of on Saturday and Fridays after work, I might be blonde, honey. But on Monday when I come back to work, her hair is black and straight. Every Monday through Friday through the hours of 9 and 5, her hair is black and straight.
Listen, but the weekend, it could be anything. We don't know.
Goes. Y'all don't even recognize me sometimes. Sherry, is that you?
A whole new person.
Oh man, that is so funny.
Not mad at that.
And I think for me, it's because it's like, I know that there's cultural barriers, and I don't want to have this conversation, and I don't want you digging around and touching me, because then it may be an end moment. I don't know.
It will be.
Or just the injustice for them being all up in your business.
Right. Refer back to A Seat at the Table by Solange. Don't do it.
That is funny. And it's funny because I actually worked with a young lady that would be considered a Rashida of our office, but Rashida's character was like a bit extra. The young lady I worked with, she wasn't your typical conforming black woman in this professional setting. So when people would see her or get what they get from her, they're like, why is she angry all the time? Why is she so aggressive? And it was like, actually, like, she's the sweetest lady ever. And it's like, actually, that's her. That's her. That's who she is. But and I got that from the black coworkers too, though. So it was both sides. So it wasn't just the white colleagues, but it was the black ones too. And for me, it was just like, is it all that bad, or is it you are like, I can't really be me, so I'm mad at her for being her?
Ooh.
Right.
That was a word.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
That's probably what that was. That was a word.
So where did we learn to code switch?
You alluded to it, slavery. And I promise y'all this ain't gonna be my soapbox every week, because I know I talked about slavery last time.
We gonna hold her to that.
But okay. but it's so much that's deep rooted in our lineage. And when you think of like code switching, assimilation, our slave masters wanted us to conform to their ideal slave. Or even when the ones who got free were up north, they assimilated to the language talk. So when a slave from the south would see that northern slave, they were like, oh, you think you better than me because you talk like the white man, or you're dressing like the white man.
Right.
So it's deep rooted from the masters, but then I feel like we've instilled it amongst each other.
Absolutely, we have.
Yeah, I would agree, because I was looking through some of the questions for Black Heart Revoked, a game that is amazing, and it was like, when do you switch up your voice on the phone? And it made me think of, our parents. Like, sometimes you could tell who they're talking to on the phone. Like, oh, this is a business call, or oh, this is, you can always kind of tell, like, they're talking to someone that's white on the phone, because their voice changed.
That's so true.
And I think that's passed down, so.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, I grew up on the east side, so Booth and Chambers, east. But I feel like, if you're from Milwaukee, you kind of know. So if the other side of Holton, so it could be either way. So if you pass Holton and you going, like, to the Booth and Chamber, like, that way, it's kind of mixed. It's very, like, eclectic. White kids, black kids, Hispanic kids, all kinds of kids. So I feel like for me, I want to say I learned how to code switch, like, going to these schools with mixed kids. Like, it wasn't all black kids. So I kind of feel like that's where I learned it, because my cousins or, like, other family would come over, like, she talk white. Like, why is she so proper? And it's like, I don't know. Like, am I? Because this is school my mom sent me to. So it's been the schooling. And from there, like, I've always been to, like, mixed schools. Well, maybe not middle school. It's all black. Webb House. But high school was pretty mixed. College, we were the only ones. So it was
just me and you.
It was just us, man. So that's kind of where I learned it from schooling. And I talk like everybody else, because this is how everybody else talked, because we were all mixed up. So, yeah.
And, another thing I thought about, because I thought about Queen Sugar. So I don't know who all watches Queen Sugar. It's on OWN. It's a really great series. I love it. And one of the characters, Nova, her new love interest, he's a black professor. And it was a scene where they were at this dinner party with a lot of his white colleagues. And, he was just, the white guy was just really demeaning black people and really talking about the inner city. And, like, either we got to choose to help them or to help this area. Like, we can't do both. Like, y'all got to figure out what y'all going to do. So, just one of those, like, dinner talk things that people in politics and things like that have. And Nova, she's a really, like, Afrocentric character. She's not conforming or assimilating to anything. And she got up from the table because she was offended. And the black guy followed her, and he was like, you got to know how to play the game. He was like, I'm so young in it. He was like, but that's how you have to do it. You have to play the game, and we have a saying that we say, if you can't beat them, join them. So how does that affect us assimilating? You know what I mean? Because think about it. We hear it so much. If you can't beat them, join them. So you telling me that I have to denounce a piece of me to be a part of them, to be accepted, or to get my view across? Why can't I just be me?
This is so deep.
I think that you can. I have an amazing mentor who is the VP of HR at my company, and she is all of herself. She is all of herself. And I think that that's what let me see that I can just be me. Because the person who she reports to is our president. Can't get no higher than that.
Right.
So,
can't get no higher.
And she really is like, when we have our sessions, so she comes from, like, a really religious background. So, and a lot of times in the workplace, there's no room for religious conversations. But, like, if I go and have a meeting with her, like this one time I went, and I just so happened to not go to church that Sunday, but I definitely got a word when I came to speak to her, and then too, she has an accent. She's from the South, comes out, but she's like, yeah, that's just who I am, so what? Does that make me less
valuable to this company? Right. Nope. You all that, ma'am. So I think
it's a choice.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that you consciously choose to let a piece of you die or go when you choose to assimilate. Like I said, I'm all with getting acclimated. But when you literally are not being you, or covering up or hiding who you are, then you're doing yourself and the world a disservice.
And that's hard.
And you're teaching that to your children.
Right.
Who can now they're ashamed of who they are. Right.
So what about the ones, because that scene in Queen Sugar really stood out to me, because he simply, was joining them. I can't beat them on my own. So you know what? For me to get my point of view and my platform across, I gotta join them. But I'm gonna eventually get it. So what about in those cases? Should we even go that route? Because we hear that saying, if you can't beat them, join them.
I just feel like you're never going to be fully accepted by them. Even if you think that you're about to play their game and do what they do, meaning white people, if we just going to keep it real, like we're always going to be just another N-word. And I keep thinking about the Jay-Z song, The Story of OJ. We can do all of these great things. We could, have money and do all this, but if you try to assimilate, it's just like they're still viewing you as what you are. Like, just be you. Like, you can do all of those things, but still just be you, because like I said, like white people will never understand what it feels like to be black, and we'll never understand what it feels like to be white, because we are who we are. So you can try to assimilate as hard as you want to. You could bleach your skin, wear blonde hair and blue eyes, you're still black, and they will let you know that anytime they feel like it.
I think that there's always that moment where you might feel like, I think I kind of alluded to it, but this was one of the first jobs that I had, and me and Nadia were the only black girls there, and I was getting along really good with one of the other cashiers' first job, and she literally was talking bad about black folks, and she said, but not you, Sherry. And I was thinking like, whoa, hello,
I'm standing right here.
Right. So there's always that that point in time where it will become apparent that we're not the same.
Yep.
And so and like I said, not to make it sound like we can't work together and we can't coexist and things like that, but for me, if I don't agree with if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
I do know that there are some people who will say, okay, I'm on your team because we're going for the same cause, even though we're enemies type of thing.
Right.
But for me, make your own lane.
There we go. That's what I'm saying.
And
why can't we feel comfortable in our own lane? Like, I feel like we shouldn't have to choose. Like, be you and be in your lane. So that's how I feel too.
Right. Do we have to code switch, or did we make that up? Is that something that we have to do?
Me personally, I don't think we have to code switch. But like I said, it depends on what that culture is like or where you are. Because again, if I'm at school teaching, like I can't be like, yeah, y'all, what up, and do it. For me, it just doesn't work. But there are teachers who can do that because it depends on your classroom culture, that school culture. But for me, teaching little ones, is I have to say things the right way, because little kids are like parrots. They're going to say exactly what I say somewhere else, and I don't want that kind of trend to happen. But I feel like you kind of say, you got to be you. We talked about this in the last episode. You have to be unapologetically, if I can say it, you have to be unapologetically you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how I feel. But this was great. I love Insecure, so we'll keep talking about that.
And speaking of Insecure, we also love just Issa Rae. And I know you wanted to talk about Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah, so the first time I saw Awkward Black Girl was at your house. Like, it was after, it was after my fake birthday, and I was at your house on the couch sleeping. And we watched all of it, and it's just a joy to see her and some of the situations that she goes through and kind of how she deals with it. The one thing that always sticks out to me is that the coworker.
Wait. So what's Awkward Black Girl?
So Awkward Black Girl is a YouTube series by Issa Rae. And she's going through just different life things, work, relationships, things like that, and just how to get through them. So she has a coworker, the guy who likes her, and she's just like, no, like, I don't like you. So I could definitely relate to that, where you're trying to give people
His name is A.
A. Oh, that's his name.
Yeah,
A. Like,
her name is Jay.
So
and I think in the first episode we learned that her boyfriend broke up with her.
Yes.
She went to an office party at work, slept with A.
Yep.
And now
he won't leave her alone.
He got it bad.
Yes.
But then her ex-boyfriend comes back, wants to be with her, but she cut her hair because she was trying to, get through the whole breakup thing, which is something common that Chanel does.
Yes, all the time.
That's when I know it's bad. I'm like, oh, child.
Listen, if we break up, I'm going to be a whole new person. Like, I'm getting new hair, everything. Like, I'm definitely going to change who I am. Hilarious.
But so he comes back and he wants to be with her, but she literally shaves her head super low, so a really low cut, and he was like, I feel like I'm gay, no homo. And he breaks up with her again.
But that is so real though, like just that whole show and kind of maneuvering as a black woman, like we kind of talked about, not all black people are the same. So stuff that she's dealing with is like, okay, I can either agree with it or, I've never had that experience. But I think the beauty of Issa Rae is she's showing you that, we all are different. Even though I'm black, I don't have a set story to tell.
But not only that, but we're multifaceted. We have
Absolutely.
many layers. So that's why, going back to what you said, when I speak to children, I speak a different way. When I speak to their parents, I speak a different
Absolutely.
way. When I speak to you guys, my friends, I speak a different way.
Yep.
And I think that that's more acclimating, right? Adjusting to who your audience is, which is definitely different from assimilation.
Absolutely. And I'm glad she's bringing that to the forefront, so that people can see. And it's Awkward Black Girl is amazing, so if you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. But it definitely kind of correlates to how Insecure kind of plays out as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to Issa Rae. She's great.
Okay. So one of the other things that I think we wanted to talk about was the whole natural hair relaxer weave thing.
The great debate.
Oh
my goodness. So we just gonna keep it real. So right now, I could say that I'm transitioning. I change my hair so often where it's just like I don't really know what's going on. But as a black woman, I feel like however you wear your hair, do you, boo. Like if you want to get relaxers, you want to be natural, I feel like we shouldn't say, oh, you have to do your hair like this or you have to do that. Because I think with this whole natural fad, because now it's a fad, where everybody is kind of doing it and everybody is selling, whatever product to use. And then it's like some black women will turn their nose up like, oh, you still get that creamy crack or you still get relaxers. It's just like, bro, like it's just hair and it's my hair. So I can do whatever I want to with my hair. So I feel like just as long as you're comfortable with it and you doing it for you, wear your hair however you want. You wear weaves, wigs, natural, perms. I do it all. So
right. And so for me, I went quote unquote natural 12 years ago, but that was before this whole natural movement. So I was growing out my perm. Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing
before it was a fad.
And that's why I think I don't really wear my hair natural, because that was never the intent. And then after it became a fad, I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do that no more.
Right. And no knock to the naturalistas, because it's some great YouTube videos and all that, but it takes a lot of work.
It does. And it's beautiful.
It is.
And it's gorgeous, but I don't have the patience or the time.
Neither do I. Or to sit and watch a whole YouTube video to twist my hair for 5 hours and then it turn out and you look like Samuel Jackson as Frederick Douglass. No, I'm not doing
and some of them know how to do it, and it's not inconvenient and it's quick for them, but I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, so I haven't either, and I don't know if I ever will. So I'm always like, I'll go to a salon, I'll pay somebody else to mane this tame hair.
Right. Okay. And so did you have anything on the topic of growing up black?
I do. So we kind of talked about this when we were in LA for your birthday, and we just was really having a heart to heart out of nowhere. So it was just really weird. So we kind of talked about being comfortable in the skin that you're in. And we all come in different shades, and we kind of had this conversation where it was like, okay, well, I'm dark skinned, or who's dark skinned, who's light skinned, and things like that. But just really owning who you are and being comfortable in your skin, and when did you realize you had that black girl magic in you. And I think for me growing up, so my mom she's brown, but I would say she was light skinned. She's lighter than I And my sister is pretty fair. She's lighter skinned. So growing up, it was always like people would look at my mom like, okay, where'd she come from? Like, why doesn't she look like you guys? Or my sister would be evil and say some mean stuff like, oh, you're a black cookie and you're black and you're this. And it's just like, but I'm really not. So for a long time, like I really thought in my mind, like I was just dark skinned. Like I'm dark. So when we had this discussion and Nadia was looking at me like, but you really not, bro? Like, don't claim dark skin because you aren't. So just looking at that and being like, you know what, regardless if I'm light or dark or whatever, like I'm really in a good place where I'm comfortable with the skin that I'm in and my skin color. And I just think black women in general are just popping right now.
Right. And whatever your shade, just make it pop.
Yeah, you popping right now. Like I see so many beautiful black women like everywhere, and I'm always amazed. Like, wow, they are just beautiful. So, especially with summer kind of winding down. But I was just looking at my skin in the summer, like, wow, I got a good tan. Like I'm really pleased with how the sun was treating me this summer. So it's awesome, and I feel like I don't know, other races they don't have that magical feeling, but I guess I can't speak to that because I'm black, so I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it was something else I was reading, and it was like common things that black people in a white office have to go through, and it was like when white people come back from vacation and they put their arm next to yours.
Yes. Yes. Like, oh, I got really tan, and I should be like, where? Like, are you serious? Or like people at my jobs would come up to me like, wow, I love your skin, like you're so tan. It's just like, yep, blessed by the best. So hey. So yeah, that's what we got. We're missing another one.
So was there anybody that you wanted to shout out, their black girl magic or black boy joy?
So we mentioned Issa Rae a lot, so definitely shouting her out and redoing the Friends like intro. I sent it to you guys. Did you see it?
Oh no!
Yeah, it's super cute. Yeah,
I did see
it.
I saw it. Yeah, and it was just like Friends. How it comes on.
So that was super cute. And then, as always, Chance the Rapper. I love him, and I think he is awesome. So those are my celebrities that I would like to shout out.
And you took mine, Issa Rae.
No. Okay, sorry.
Love her.
Yes.
And so then moving on, what's your top 5 black sitcoms?
Okay, so I was thinking about this at home, and I guess I'm gonna go in order. So my 5 best black sitcom would have to be I'm gonna say The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So okay. I'm gonna put that at 5. And then 4, I'm going to put The Game, the show The Game.
The Game was everything.
Yeah, it was until like the later seasons. I was like, y'all was just running out of stuff to do. Now it's stupid, but whatever. And then 3, I would say Girlfriends. Love that show, like life changing. Like, and they did a lot of code switching on Girlfriends, and which we didn't talk about that, but they did a lot of it. 2, I would say would be Martin. Definitely a staple in our house watching that. And then my number 1 all-time favorite black show is A Different World. Not season 1 though. Season 1 was trash, but season 2 on, amazing.
A Different World every day.
We need that. We need that. Like that was definitely why I'm so salty that I didn't go to HBCU because of that show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So for me, no particular order, but I really love My Wife and Kids.
Hilarious.
Like, that show had me dying every day. And The Cosby Show. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy around that, but at the end of the day, let's just separate the show from the man. The show is what it is.
See, I wasn't a huge Cosby Show fan anyway, but...
More recently, I've been in love with The Carmichael Show, and I'm really disappointed that it's being canceled because that show is hilarious. Yeah. And I just finally got Chanel to get on board.
And it is funny, but
it's hilarious.
It ain't coming on no more.
Man.
No more.
And then also Girlfriends. You know, I had every season on DVD.
Yes.
And I would just continue to watch. And I don't know why I didn't think of The Game because I used to love The Game. And then also now Insecure.
Okay, yeah. That's my favorite show, and I even added to my list. I'm so ashamed.
Because you tried for me, but it's okay.
I'm so ashamed. But I will say honorable mention would be like the Boondocks.
Oh,
remember when at Marquette we would like camp out in the common area to watch it and order a pizza shuttle, like take over the whole common area and watch the Boondocks, all black and all loud.
Yeah,
at
and it's
Marquette.
crazy because if you watch the Boondocks, you know that oh my God. And we would watch it in the common area, and we were the only black people in that
black
dorm.
and loud.
7 floors of women. And it was me, Scarlett, you, and Ryan. And I think we were... Oh, actually, no. I think there were 2 other black girls.
Would they watch it with us, though?
No.
I don't remember that. No.
Nothing against them, because I don't think we invited them. I'm sure if we did, they would have. Yeah. But yeah. And so we had no shame. We was black and proud at Marquette.
And one time we like fell asleep down there, and the cleaning crew was like cleaning up around us, and we was just like, "Oh, sorry."
Right, but don't eat my pizza. Though.
Right, don't eat our pizza. Shut up. So yes, the Boondocks, great show.
Okay, so we can do a quick. We'll just do maybe a couple cards of Black Card.
Oh yeah. We should tell the people where they can get this game from.
I believe it's on allpeople.com. Let me see. I think it's...
Yeah, I found them on Instagram. We can pull it up. We'll tell you guys where you can find it.
Yeah, and we'll just do 2. So Lakeisha had to step away.
Okay. So the basis of the game is... It's like questions. So the game is called Black Card Revoked. So you're asked like questions, and some of them are like majority rules, and then some of them specifically have like A, B, C, or D
as an answer.
Yes.
Right. And so basically the game is centered around things that are common colloquialisms in the black community. So things that black people should know. Hence, if you don't, your black card gets revoked. So we're just going to do 2 questions. Like I said, Lakeisha had to step away. So.
All right. Do you want me to read mine? Okay. So it says, answer the question. How long does a Baptist church service last on Sunday? And this one is a majority rule. So A, 2 hours. B, 4 hours. C, all day. D, when pastor says so.
And what would you say?
So I'm going to say, ooh. This is a tough one. I'm going to say when the pastor says so. And I'm going to say this because the church that I was going to is a great church. But especially if it was like Packer Sunday, like he would be like, okay, we got to hurry up because he wanted to watch the game. No. But any other time, it'll be like, and one more thing. And one more thing. It's just
and
like.
he rose.
Yes. Like, bruh, okay, come on. So I'm going to say when the pastor says so.
Okay. So I've been to many Baptist churches.
Forever.
Right. And I would say, at first I would say all day, because I have literally been to some churches where it's an all day thing. Like, y'all bring some snacks, bring your water, put your finger up because you got to go potty, like pack a bag. It's an all day thing. But I would say when pastor says so.
Yeah, I agree. So majority rules.
Okay. So the question that I have, it's what's the nickname your mother gives your significant other? And this one is majority rules. So A, your little boyfriend. B, your little friend. C, that fast-tailed heifer. So it depends on, if it's a man or a woman. And then D, what's his or her name?
So my mama is infamous for your little friend. Like, she will not say that's my boyfriend or no. She's gonna say your little friend. Like, and the dude could be like 40. She's still gonna be like, that's your little friend. Like, she don't care.
And that's what my mom would say too. And that's why I wonder sometimes, like, if I got married and had kids, would she still be like, so I spoke to your little friend?
She probably would, because I feel like my mom would. Like,
your little friend called me. And,
yes, my son's dad is still your little friend. It's just like, what? No.
The kid is 15.
Right.
No.
Like, my son like 20 years old. Like, no, it's not my little friend no more. So, yes. But you can find Black Card Revoked. They're on Instagram at Black Card Revoked. And they have the link where you can order it at blackcardrevoked.com. So, it's a great game.
Okay. Any final thoughts for dessert?
Just everybody, pray for me that I have a great start to the school year. pray for my class. And, if you want to stop by and talk to K5, my door is always open. So you could totally come chill with my class. Come read us a story or something. That would be awesome.
My final thoughts are go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. And with that is the end of episode 3.
Ooh, we did it.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Brunch with Besties. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to shoot us an email at brunchwithbestiespodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram. Our handle is @brunchwithbestiespodcast. For right now, you can listen on SoundCloud. Be sure to review, subscribe, and comment. We appreciate it. Thank you.